Goodness.
Good afternoon. Let's start today's daily current affair discussion. Start with the first topic that we'll take each regarding the delay in decennial census. The census is a decadal affair. It was started as a mere head count to know the number of persons in the country by the Britishers. Fine. But subsequently, in the post-independent India, census is made the basis of development in India. At every 10 years interval, the Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India conduct the decadal census. Okay, and due to the pandemic, so for this year census has been postponed, and the major reason is due to the pandemic. So census is the only operation that is done actually. The rest of the information are collected on an average. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Konda. Konda. Kodo. Konda. Konda. Okay. So due to the pandemic, it has been delayed. Okay. So the decennial census 2010 has been pushed forward yet again, and it's unlikely to start until September 23rd at least. The additional Registrar General of India communicated to states on January 2nd without specifying the region that the date of freezing of administrative boundary has been extended till June 30th. The census can only begin 3 months after the boundary have been frozen, and the completion of the census in its two phases take at least 11 months, because census being the The census can only begin 3 months after the boundary have been frozen. Thus, even if started in an urgent fashion from October, the possibility of its friction in 2023 or early 2023 is ruled out. As general elections are due in March-April 2024. Okay. Census each. Okay. I, the census conducted India's first proper and synchronous census, one which began on the same day a year across regions of the country, was carried out in 1881 by the colonial administration under the British rule, and since happened every 10 years, except the one that was supposed to be carried out in 2021. Since 1881, census is being done. Okay. The decimal census carried out by lakhs of enumerators empaneled and trained by the government in two phases. Because census being the only practical exercise, not on random sample survey, because all other operations in India is done on random sample survey. Okay, but census is done. Okay, so on practical basis and no. Okay. The first phase is the house census or house enumeration, where data on housing conditions, household amenity, and asset purchased by households are collected. And the second phase is where data on population, education, religion, economic activity, scheduled caste, tribe, language, literacy, migration, fertility are collected. So, census which was started by the Britishers, okay, only as a mere head count, has taken so many other aspects to its. Okay. The first page is the house enumeration, the house census. The data on housing conditions, household amenities, and asset purchased by the households are collected by the trained personnel. And the second page is where data on population, education, religion, economic activity, scheduled caste and tribes, language, literacy, migration, and fertility are collected from the people. Fine. The freezing of boundary limit of administrative units such as district, sub-district, tahsil and police stations happens between two consecutive census, as state administrator often create new district or merge or recognize the existing units. Okay, because it is the responsibility of the state government to create new district by merging or by separation. Okay. So, how many times has the census 21 been delayed? The census is still conducted under the Census Act 1948, which predates the Constitution. Constitution was adopted in 1949 and came into being in 1950, but the Census Act was passed in 1948. Notably, the Act does not bind the government to conduct the census on a particular date or to release its data in a notified period. The centers intend to conduct the 2021 census was notified in the Gazette of India in March 20, 2019. The free zone administrative boundary was to be effective from 1st January 2020 to March 31st, 2021 before the COVID-19 pandemic. So after the freezing of the boundaries, then census is started and the data collected accordingly. But because of this pandemic broke out during the same period, so the fast postponement of the census was conducted. So that is the only way out because there is no other option left. Fine. In 2020, the census was postponed indefinitely and several requests were received from state for permission to create new units. The date of freezing of boundary was first extended till December 30th, 31st, 2020. It was extended again till December 31st, 2021, then June 30, 2022, and further again to December 31st, 2022. In December 13, 2022, Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai informed the Rajya Sabha due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, census 2021 and the related field activity have been postponed until further orders because situation has not been normalized around the country. According to UN statistics, multiple countries have delayed their census exercise due to pandemic. But many of them like USA, UK, China and Bangladesh have completed the count by now. Although, many countries have. Okay. So, although they have discontinued it, so due to this delayed it for the pandemic, okay, okay. So, but they have completed it. But India, the process is as it was, right? So, standstill still continue as far as the census operation in India is concerned. Okay. What are the implications of the delay? The census data is crucial for various administrative functions, welfare schemes, and other surveys. The government should take a quick call, and delay is not good and has ramifications. The Finance Commission allocates fund to states on the basis of census figure, and any delay could put them at disadvantage. The Finance Commission depends upon the census data. Okay, for getting. Okay. Besides, outdated census information often become unreliable and affect those who do not do and do not receive the benefit of welfare schemes. Under the National Food Security Act 2013, 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population totaling 67% of the country's population, are entitled to receive subsidized food grains for the government under the targeted public distribution system under the National Food Security Act. Okay, you see, when the government passed the National Food Security Act, okay, the NFSA, which Act? National Food Security Act 2013. So it mandated that 75% of the okay. So it's totaling 76, 67 of the total population are entitled to receive subsidized food grains. But if the census data is not updated, so how this will be ensured? Okay. Okay. If census operation is not done regularly, and because for the last one decade the data is delayed, so data is the data of 2011, so there might be a lot of increase in the number of population, and how the food grain will be provided to them when accurate information regarding total number of population is not yet been published by the Register General and Census Commission of India. According to 2011 census, India's population is about 221 crore and PDS beneficiary were approximately 80 crore. However, economics point out that population growth over the last decade means that if the 67 ratio is applied to 2020 projected population, then 137 crore PDS coverage would have increased to around 92 crore people. From 80 crore to 92 crore people are to be included under the National Food Security Act. According to an expert, census data are critical for other sample surveys conducted in the country as they use the census data. Madam, online class ये ऊपर अच्छी online class रे असुनन हाँ ये just जो enquiry करछी Okay. So, survey conducted in the country as they use the census data as a frame or list from which a representative sample of the population is selected for survey. For the latest edition of the National Family Health Survey released in 2022, it was the 2011 data that served as the sampling frame because all the informations of the 2021 is being used for the beneficiary right now, and it must have been increased a lot, but due to the non-availability of the updated census data, so new people or the new members who might have been added in the benefit are being excluded. They are not getting the coverage under this. This is a big challenge because they are unable to get enrolled for the beneficiary program. The constitution talk about the use of census data for delimitation of constituencies and for determining the quantum of reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. The provisional data compiled by the Register General of India till June 2022 show that number of districts in the country has increased from 640 to 736 presently. Sub-districts are up from 5,925 to 6,754. The villages have decreased from 6,40,934 to 6,39,083 in 2021. This means significant changes in the demography and the need for amenities from government health to education facility are there, and that can only be done when the census data is accurately available. Besides, the census is crucial to determine the population of migrants and migration pattern. The start of the pandemic saw a sea of migration on the country's road, and the only data available to the government was from 2021, which could not answer queries on the number, case, and pattern of migration. Fine. So just go through this. Besides, the constitution talk about the use of census data for a delimitation of the constituency. So delimitation is a process by which the number of voters in each constituency, the parity is maintained. And for determining the quantum of reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, the provisional data compiled by the Registrar General of India till June 2020 show the number of districts has continued increased from 640 to 736. Sub-districts are up from 5,925 to 6,754, and villages have decreased from 6 lakh 40,934 to 6 lakh 39,083 in 2020. This means significant things have taken place. Besides, the census is crucial to determine the population of migrants and migration pattern. The start of pandemic saw a sea of migration on the country's roads, and only data available with the government was from 2021, which could not answer queries on the number, causes, and pattern of migration. Because people migrate from one place to another in the country because in search of occupation or job, And the pandemic has visualized that how the migration was in India, because people started migrating back to their own place of origin in the grip of pandemic. They started roaming, that they started walking all over the country, because they don't have the money. All the transport system has been stopped, and that led people to be in long queue in the transport system. And when they are interrupted, they started walking long distance to reach that place. Even they crossed state boundaries to reach return back to the place of origin. So migration dimension has not yet been made clear after the pandemic. So no new provisions can be made, because what is the number of people in a particular area where the migrant can return back to the place where they were, or they are staying at their own native place, is not yet clear. Former bureaucrat also advised that the exercise of collecting data for national population register, which was to happen with the first phase of the census, could now be delayed owing to its politically sensitive nature and the urgency of the census. What about the proposed digital census? Because the 2021 census was supposed to be the first digital census of India, because using technology, the census was planned to be that to the plan to be done on a digital format. So without using any pen and paper, okay, only. So the planning was to deploy all gadgets to conduct the census, but the entire thing has been derailed due to the pandemic. So the projection of the fast digital census, the upcoming census will also be fast census both in digital mode and through paper schedule. In 2022, the Union government amended the census rule framed in the year 1990 to allow the details to be captured and stored in an electronic form, and also make a provision enabling self-enumeration by the respondent. Fine. Self-enumeration was allowed by amending the Census Act. The Home Ministry informed the Parliament in December 2022 that mobile and web applications for the collection of data and the portal for management and monitoring of various census-related activity have been developed at a cost of 24.84 crores so far, because government has spent a substantial sum in developing the modus operandi or the system to start the census, but of no use because of the pandemic they are unable to start it. Okay. So the second news is regarding the Indian abroad, okay, or the Indian diaspora. Okay. So because January is the month when the Prabasi Bharatiya Sammelan is held. Okay. Or that NRI Day, NRI Summit, or the Prabasi Bharatiya Sammelani is arranged in the post in the month of January, and that's an event where we invite the Prabasis or the non-residents, okay, to India, and reward them, award them, recognize their contributions, okay, and this way, so it is much. Inaugurating the 17th Prabhasi Bharatiya Divas Convention recently at Indore, the Prime Minister Modi said Indians living overseas. Okay, so Indian living overseas, uh, brand ambassadors of the country or a foreign land or a foreign soil. So the Indians who stay abroad are recognized as India's brand ambassador because they popularize India outside the country. Over the years, the convention, which began under the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government in 2003, has grown in size and scope, particularly since 2015 when the Minister of External Affairs turned the event into a biennial affairs, because from 2015 prior to that it was held annually, but from 2015 onward this is being held. This is being held once in a 2 years interval. Over the years, convention which began under the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government in 2003 has grown in its size and scope, particularly since 2015 when the Minister of External Affairs turned the events into biennial affairs. Prior to that, it was held every year. The ongoing Prabhasi Bharatiya Divas Convention in Indore is the 70th edition of the event, which commemorates the return of Mahatma Gandhi to India on January 9, 1915 from South Africa. But the story of the Indian expat goes back prior to the return of Mahatma Gandhi, because Indians have migrated to many countries of the world in the past, and from the Gilmatias till the present period. So large number of migrations have taken place from India to outside destinations. So history of the Indian expat, the term diaspora traces root to the Greek disperio, which means dispersion. The Indian diaspora has grown manifold since the first batch of Indians were taken to country in the East Pacific and the Caribbean island under the Girimatia arrangement as indentured laborers. The 19th and the 20th century saw thousands of Indians shipped to those countries to work on plantations in British colonies, which were reeling under a labor crisis due to the abolition of slavery in 1833-34. Surinamese President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, who addressed the convention as a special guest, referred to this migration, saying 2023 marked the 150th year of the first batch journey from India to Suriname, because so the Suriname president, who is the special guest on this year's Pravasi Bharatiya Sammelani, he told that the first batch of Indian migrated to Suriname 150 years back, and that is the first such journey of Indians to Suriname, who were sent by the Britishers or taken by the Britishers there to work in their plantation field. Okay, and because slavery was abolished and no slave was available to work in the field, so the those Britishers, okay, they hired the people from these countries where they rule, which are overpopulated, to take them to the country where they want to go for this plantation activity. As part of the second wave of migration, nearly 20 lakh Indians went to Singapore and Malaysia to work in farms. The third and fourth wave saw professional hailing to Western countries and working workers going to Gulf and West Asian countries in the wake of the oil boom. So first they went to work in the plantation field. Second, they went to the Western countries. Those are the educated fellows, professionals, doctors, engineers, chartered accountant, etc. Then comes that the Gulf worker, because when the Gulf oil boom started, so many Indians migrated to Gulf countries in search of the work in the oil related activities. Overseas Indians are classified into three categories: non-resident Indians, person of Indian origin, and the overseas citizens of India. You see, this is their categorization. The people of Indian origin staying abroad are categorized into non-resident Indians (NRI), then persons of Indian origin (PIO), overseas citizens of India (OCI). NRI are Indians who are resident of foreign countries. The PIO category was abolished in 2015 and merged with the OCI category. However, existing PIO cadre cards are valid till December 31st, 2023, by which the holders of these cards have to obtain OCI cards. So right now this NRI is the category, and the PIO and OCI, okay, have been merged to be branded in one category as the overseas citizens of India. So no more PIO provision is there. So only NRI, okay, and the overseas citizens of India are right now uh, allowed to continue in the Indian diaspora. Fine. NRI are Indian who are resident of foreign country. The PIO category was abolished in 2015 and merged with the OCI category. However, existing PIO cards are valid till December 31st, 2023, by which the holders of these cards have to obtain OCI cards. So earlier their cards are two types. One is the NRI, the person who was still holding Indian passport, although he or she is staying in the outside India, but he or she holds Indian passport. But the OCI and PIO are two different categories, and the different cards were issued to them. Subsequently, government decided to abolish from 2015. Government decided to abolish the PIO cards. Okay, and the PIO cards holders, those who have the cards, they are allowed to continue till 2023, and after 2023, they have to change their PIO card to OCI cards. And so at present, there are two category of diaspora people. One is the NRI, so who still holds Indian passport. The second category is the OC, overseas citizens of India. Fine, overseas citizens of India. Only two categories. According to VANIK-IAS, PIO refers to foreign citizen except a national of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, China, Iran, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal who at any time held Indian passport, or who are either of their parents, grandparents, great grandparents are born and permanently reside in India as defined in Government of India Act 1935, or who is a spouse of a citizen of Indian or a PIO. A separate category of OCI was carved out in 2006. An OCI card was given to a foreign national who was eligible to be a citizen of India on January 1950. As a citizen of India, or at any time after January 56, 1950, or belong to a territory that became part of India after August 15, 1947. Minor children of such individuals, except those who were a citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh, were also eligible for the OCI cards. Fine. So right now, NRI are having Indian passports, and the OCI card is issued to persons of Indian origin. Okay, so based on them fulfilling the criteria. Those who fulfill the criteria, they are eligible to get the OCI card. And the Indian diaspora, you can say at present consist of the NRI and the OCI. Number and geographical spread. According to an August 2022 report, the Parliamentary Committee on External Affairs, as on December 31st, 2021, there are 4.7 crore Indians living overseas. The number includes NRI, PIO, OCI, and students. Excluding students, the number stands at 3.22 crore, including 187 crore PIO and 1.35 crore NRI. All total, so around 30. 2 million Indians are that diaspora people outside India. According to World Migration Report prepared by the International Organization for Migration under the United Nations, India has the largest immigrant population in the world, making it the top origin country globally, followed by Mexico, Russia, and China. So India is the top country from where highest number of migrants they went to other countries, so in search of occupation or other things. Fine. See, this is so spread over 10 top destinations of Indians: United Arab Emirates, United States, Saudi Arab. So remittance in India, India received $83 billion, followed by China $59.51 billion. The five top remittance is being country. Remittance is the amount sent by the Indians working abroad. But the amount they send to India is called as remittance, and India is the largest remittance receiving country in the world. This shows how many Indians are abroad who are working and who are sending their income to India. That is the number of Indians who are abroad, or broadly called the Indian diaspora. Numbers shared by the government in Parliament in 2020 show that the geographical spread of the Indian diaspora is vast. The countries with over 10 lakh overseas Indians include United States of America 44 lakhs, United Kingdom 7.6 lakh, United Arab Emirates 34 lakhs, Sri Lanka 16 lakhs, South Africa 15.5 lakhs, Saudi Arabia 26 lakhs, Myanmar 20 lakhs, Malaysia 29 lakhs, Kuwait 10 lakhs, Canada 16.8 lakhs. Okay, that means this number of Indian people have migrated and are staying in these countries. Okay. Remittance, according to World Bank, are a vital source of household income for low and middle income country in India, because their family members are staying abroad or working abroad, and a part of their income they send to India, through from which their family earn its sustenance. According to the latest World Bank Migration and Development brief released in November 2022, for the first time is a single country, India is on a track to receive more than 100 billion in early remittance. Okay, so 100 billion in early $100 billion as remittance. Okay, okay. According to latest, so if they track to receive more than $100 billion in early remittance. This shows the potential of Indians abroad, and the amount that India can receive from abroad as remittance, which will be a direct income for the government, because that amount will be added to the foreign exchange reserve of the government, and the government has not to pay it back because they have come from the income of the Indian people working abroad. Fine. The World Migration Report notes that India, China, Mexico, Philippines, and Egypt are among the top 5 remittance receiving countries, although India and China were well above the rest. In 2020, the two neighbors received the largest amount of international remittance in Asia, with a combined total of $140 billion US dollar. Involvement in politics. The vocal political positions takes by the section of the Indian diaspora, particularly in USA and UK, is a fairly recent phenomena, because the election of the president of America. Okay, so also Rishi Sunak as the Prime Minister of England. So this Indian diaspora has played a very prominent role. For instance, the Hindu American Foundation, a Hindu advocacy group based in the USA, was set up in 2003. The same year, the Pravasi Bharatiya Convention was launched. And at the launch, the PM Vajpayee, who said overseas Indians can project the truth about India to the world, is a credible and effective manner and counter propaganda. That means, so how are these Pravasi Bharatiyas or Pravasi non-resident Indians? So they are important in the country where they are staying. Fine. In his recent speech, Prime Minister Modi echoed similar sentiments, urging Prabasi Bharatiyas to amplify India's development story. Charges of bias. August 2022, a report of the House panel pointed out that conventions such as the Prabasi Bharatiya Sammelani appear to be leaving out a large section of the diaspora that is not wealthy. It expressed apprehension that low, semi-skilled and blue-collar workers may not find place or feel comfortable to participate in the said celebration. The general profile of participant is seen to be very high level. The committee have a strong view that participation and involvement should be more broad-based, accommodating the vulnerable section of the diaspora community. So, the function of the Pravasi Bharatiya Sammelani should not include only the well-established diaspora people from Indian origin, but even the vulnerable migrants in working in those countries should also be included, because this should give a more wider representation and a better picture for them. There is nothing to hide, but in the reality, let it be exposed. And those who are the backward marginal section, they should be involved in the development process. Okay, so they can also get the benefit. Okay. The next news is about the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Okay. National Health Authority introduces the new system to measure and grade performance of hospitals empaneled under the Ayushman Bharat PM Joy Jan Arogya Yojana scheme with an objective to shift the focus of measuring performance of hospitals from volume of service provided to the value of healthcare service. So volume of service, how many numbers, but quality, how much quality is being provided. The National Health Authority is introducing a new system to measure and grade hospital performance under the flagship scheme Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Traditionally, from the payer's perspective, okay, the healthcare model has been focused on the. Okay, traditionally, from the payer's perspective, the healthcare model has been focused on the quantity of service delivered, where case-based bundle payment is made on the basis of the number of service provided. Okay, so Ayushman Bharat is a insurance program and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Karyakram under which government decided to provide the health coverage to the vulnerable people. Fine. So the new initiative will introduce the concept of value-based care, where payment will be outcome-based and providers will be rewarded according to the quality of the treatment delivered. Under the new model, the providers will be rewarded for helping the patients improve their health, which consequently will reduce the effect of disease in the population in the long term. Under value-based care, the performance of the that Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana empaneled hospitals will be measured based on 5 performance indicators such as beneficiary satisfaction, hospital readmission rate, the extent of out-of-pocket expenditure, confirmed grievances, okay, and the last improvement in patients' health related quality of life. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is the world's largest health insurance assurance scheme fully financed by the government. Launched in February 2018, it offers a sum insured of 5 lakhs per family for secondary care, which does not involve a super specialist, as well as tertiary care, which involves a super specialist. Under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, cashless and paperless access to services are provided to the beneficiary at the point of service, that is hospital. Health benefit packages cover surgery, medical and daycare treatment, cost of medicines and diagnostics. So all these are covered under the health insurance known as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat. Okay, which is called as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Package rates that includes everything so that each product or service is not charged for separately. These are flexible, but the hospitals cannot charge the beneficiary more once fixed. Beneficiary, it is an entitlement based scheme that targets the beneficiaries as identified by latest socio-economic caste census data. Once identified by the database, the beneficiary is considered insured and can walk into any empaneled hospital. Funding. The funding for the scheme is shared 60-40 for all states and union territories with their own legislature and 90-10 in northeastern states and Jammu Kashmir. Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and 100% central funding for the union territories without legislature. Fine. So funding, because this being a centrally sponsored scheme, so central and state they share it, and for the union territories the central government bear all the expenditure. But the sharing is between 60-40 for normal states and 90-10 for the northeastern side. So state that Union Territory with assemblies. Nodal agency, the National Health Authority has been constituted as an autonomous entity under the Social Restriction Act 1860 for effective implementation of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana in alliance with state government. The State Health Agency is the apex body of the state government responsible for implementation of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana in the state. Then the next is on the land subsidence. Almost a week after cracks appeared in many roads and hundreds of houses in Josimat in Uttarakhand, authority recently declared it as a landslide and subsidence hit zone. The announcement came after a high-level meeting took place among the senior officials of the central government, Uttarakhand state officials, and top officials from the agencies, including the National Disaster Management Authority, Geological Survey of India. Okay, and the National Institute of Hydrology. So far, 16 families have been evacuated to temporary relief camps, and around 90 more will be evacuated soon because in the Josimat area of Uttarakhand there is cracks on their buildings, on the roads, and in the mountain region. Okay, on the hills that created that is the land that geological phenomenon. What is land subsidence? According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, subsidence is the sinking of the ground because of underground material movement. It can happen for a host of reasons, man-made or natural, such as the removal of water, oil, or natural resources, along with mining activities, earthquakes, soil erosion, soil compaction are also some of the well-known causes of subsidence. The US-based agency's website also mentions that this phenomenon can happen over very large area like whole states or province, or very small area like the corner of your ad at any place, because where there is underground soil is compressed, the above the soil above the land above develop crack or subsidized subduction is there. What can be the reason behind this Josimat subsidence? Subsidence, the exact reason behind Josimat land subsidence is still unknown, but experts suggest that incident might have occurred because of unplanned construction, overpopulation, obstruction of the natural flow of water, and the hydel power activity. Not only this, area is seismic zone which make it prone to frequent earthquakes. The possibility of such an incident happening in the region was first highlighted around 50 years when the MC Mishra committee report was published, and it cautioned against unplanned development in this area and identified the natural vulnerabilities. Unplanned development means more and more construction activity, hydropower plants, and checking the waters lead to this sort of geological activity. Okay, so this you can say this subsidence activity is maybe man-made or maybe natural. According to expert, Jostimat city has been built on an ancient landslide materials, meaning it rests on the depth of sand and stone and not rock, which does not have high load bearing capacity. This makes the area extremely vulnerable to ever burgeoning infrastructure and population. Moreover, the lack of a proper drainage system might have also contributed to the sinking of the area. Experts say that unplanned and unauthorized construction has led to the blocking of the natural flow of water, which eventually result in frequent landslides. Residents have blamed the NTPC's Thapuban Vishnugad hydropower projects for this incident. Subsidence in Josimat might have been triggered by the reactivation of a geographic fault defined as the fracture of the zone of fractures between two blocks of rocks, where the Indian plate has pushed under the Eurasian plate along the Himalayas. So, because in the Himalayan region, they are more susceptible to this plate tectonic activity and being this geological phenomena, and this has created a big challenge for the administration. And the Uttarakhand Chief Minister visited the area, and people have been rehabilitated from that particular area, rescued, and to be reality in the other places. Coming to the long question, so what is cultural relativism? What are the problems which cultural relativism presents to morality? Cultural relativism is the ability to understand a culture on its own terms and not to make judgment using the standards of one's own culture. Using the perspective of cultural relativism leads to the view that no one culture is superior to another culture when compared to system of morality, law, politics, etc. Significance of cultural relativism. It is a concept that cultural norms and values derive their meaning within a specified social context. Fine. This is also based on the idea that there is no absolute standard of good or evil, therefore, every decision. Okay, so the concept of cultural relativism also means that any opinion on ethics is subject to the perspective of each person within their particular culture. In a holistic understanding of the term cultural relativism, it tries to promote the understanding of cultural practices that are unfamiliar to other cultures. Increasing knowledge of cultural diversity in the world has created doubts about objective morality. This led cultural relativists to conclude that there are no normal standards that transcends culture and by which the standard of the culture can be judged. Problem with cultural relativism. Cultural relativism leads to many unacceptable implications. For example, a culture may try to marginalize or decimate a minority. It cannot be justified on the ground that it is admissible within that society's ethos. It propagates the idea that differences should be settled by the majority and as an accepted feature of the culture. If slavery or infanticide is practiced in a culture, it can be regarded as falling to measure up to the universal standard of morality. So some countries, some people, as per cultural norms, they go for infanticide. But this is not the right approach. This is a negative change, and that need to be changed. But that orientation should be inculcated to the people. So, and in this way, culture should not be put to a derogatory reflection. Cultural relativism raises the challenges to ethics as universal standards of right or wrong. It comes from the claim that moral judgment are relative to the individual or particular society and are not universally applicable. Coming to the MCQs, consider the following statement of the census in India. The first complete census conducted uh, in the first decade of the 20th century. Okay, first complete census. Okay, population of India has steadily and continuously increased in the last century. Right. So both are incorrect. Okay, the census is conducted under the Census Act in 1940, which binds the government to conduct the census on a particular date. So all the three are incorrect. So one, two, three. All the three facts are incorrect. Answer is D. With reference to latest data consider the following: India, Mexico, Philippines, China, Egypt. Are in the above country in descending order of the top 5 remittance receiving country? India is at the top, followed by China. Okay. Then comes Mexico. Then comes Philippines. Last is Egypt. So 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. D is the right answer. First is India. Next comes China, then comes Mexico, then comes Philippines, last is Egypt. 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. Right answer. D. In the context of India, which of the following factors is or are contributors to reducing the risk of currency crisis? the foreign currency earning of all IT sectors. Okay, increasing government expenditure, remittance from abroad. Okay, so only increasing government expenditure is not risk of currency crisis. Okay, so then so 1 and 3 are correct. With reference to Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, consider the following statement. It has been launched to achieve universal health coverage. It is the world's largest health insurance scheme, fully financed by the government, and cost implementation is shared between the center and the state. It is only applicable to the people aged 60 years and above. So, in this case, so which okay, so it is not, so all are covered, not the 60 but all. So C 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the right answer. With reference to land subsidence, consider the following statement. Overpopulation, obstruction of the natural flow of water, hydropower activity, soil compaction, triggered by reactivism of the geographic fault. So all the above are the factors for land subsidence that has taken place in Josimat area of Uttarakhand recently. Question number 5, all are correct. Then coming to 6. With reference to recent judgment of Supreme Court, consider the following assertion. Supreme Court recently, Uttarakhand government's moved to set up a committee on the Uniform Civil Code. Only the center can set up a committee for the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. Okay. So in this case, both 1 and 2 both are false. Answer is D. A and R both are false. That is true. So none of them are true. A rare Himalayan griffon vulture rescued from Kanpur recently. With reference to the vulture, consider the following. Himalayan griffon vulture inhabit the higher regions of the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau. Their scavengers birds are considered as a near threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN). Okay, so both are correct. With reference to recent scientific assessment of ozone layer depletion, consider the following. The latest assessment predicts that Earth's protective ozone layer is healing at a pace that could fully melt the whole over Antarctica in 2040. The scientific assessment that is held every 4 years. Okay. So in this case, only 2 is correct, 1 is incorrect. And coming to question number 9. Recently, Union Minister of Jitendra Singh unveiled the theme of the National Science Day 2023. The reference to the consider following. The National Science Day celebrated every year on 24th February to commemorate discovery of the Raman effect. Okay, that is right. And the theme of National Science Day is integrated approach in science and technology for sustainable development. It is wrong. The Raman effect for which C.V. Raman was awarded Nobel Prize in 1930 is right. So 1 and 3 are right. So option is A. 1 and 3. Then question number 10. Which of the following status is are given under the Swachh Bharat mission organ? So ODF plus, ODF plus plus, water plus. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. So all are correct answers.